Hi, welcome back. Okay, so you now know what your purpose is and whether it's serving you the way you think it's going to serve you, and you also hopefully know theirs if there's another person involved. You know their purpose, why they're behaving that way, and whether it's serving them. Okay, so communication is obviously always key in here, and we just end up thinking about what we want, and we forget to compromise. We'll talk about that later. You cannot change other people. You cannot change other people. You can't say to them, stop shouting at me, and they go, oh, okay, that's fine, I'll stop shouting at you. Because you can't, it doesn't work that way. If they have learned that shouting at you makes you do what they tell you to, then you're going to do it. The same way as if people make you feel guilty, the response of that is whatever you behave. And if they want you to behave the way you do when you feel guilty, they're going to continue to do it. It serves their purpose. So all the time, you have to change you. So rather than saying, this makes me want to bow down to you and do what you tell me to do, you can start saying, no, that's not acceptable to me, and for whatever reason. So changing you changes them. So you at the moment, that sounds like a big ask, because at the moment you are responding unconsciously to your triggers. So you see this person, and as soon as they start behaving a certain way, you respond. So X equals Y without question. So how do we stop doing this? So this we talked about is your past future loop. I've behaved that way before, so I'm going to do it again. You could even say, well, past future loop, I've been cheated on before, so therefore this person is going to treat on me as well because I've already been cheated on once. So that is your jealousy loop. So that is a past future loop. It's happened in the past, it's going to happen in the future. So you respond as though that is true, even though it might not be. So when you see this person, you are responding unconsciously and without thought. So how do you stop that? You've got to stop that trigger. You've got to stop behaving that way at that time and to learn a different way. So that's stopping the trigger. Now you are used to unconsciously responding to a situation. So when you have this feeling, wherever it is, we've done this in a really broad context, because obviously this is just a free workshop online. So, but if you think of the emotion that you are feeling, okay, and how it makes you feel. So when this person behaves the way they behave, it makes me feel whatever it is. So an instant trigger and an instant response. So you are used to behaving that way. So if you stop and take a breath, so you've already changed the trigger. You're already changing how to behave. Now, you can have certain feelings and they are making you respond a certain way. Do you have to respond that way? Do you have to respond the same way as you always do? Do you have to do the same things as you always do? Or can you choose to do something else? So you may feel like your hands are tied and you're compelled to do this and you're compelled to allow them to do this. But if you keep allowing them to do this to you, they are going to keep doing it because it serves their purpose to continue to do this. So where does this go? Down the line, if you continue doing this, where does it go down the line? At some point, you're going to change it, or you're going to feel bad like this forever. So you stop, and you take a breath. And here now, whilst you are not in the situation, you can actually start thinking about, how else can I behave in this way? So it can be, we've talked about other people. This is a lot about other people, but you might just be anxious yourself and worrying about things in your own way and in your own time. I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this, what if I get the virus, what if my children get the virus, what if they don't go back to school, what if I lose my job. All these things are building pictures in your mind, and they're making you feel. Remember, the mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So all those worrisome thoughts that you have cause adrenaline and make your stomach shut down, and they give you that lump in your stomach, and they make your heart race, and they make you feel really tense, and all your muscles are tightening. Maybe you are the shouty one, maybe you are the one that suffers with anger and frustration. You know, you've got all this adrenaline, you're stressed, and you've got so tense, and you're just getting worse and worse and worse until you go. Don't know who that is, do we, Faith? Right. You got to stop. Whatever happens, you have to stop and take a breath. You stop and make that trigger different. So once you start behaving a different way, you can actually physically choose, do I want to behave this way? Does it serve my purpose to behave this way? Or can I do something else at this point? So when you get stressed, when you're faced with feeling the same feelings, angry, guilt, whatever, stop. Take a breath. So the cooling breath we've talked about on numerous videos. It is literally breathing in as deeply as you can, as into your belly if you can. Breathe in as deeply as you can, and then blow the breath out. Blowing the badness out. Breathe in the good, breathe in the calm, blow the frustration out. Don't know where that comes from, do we, Faith? Yeah. So once you stop and take your breath, you've already stopped this pattern response from happening. As soon as you recognise that feeling within you, whatever this was right at the beginning, your situation, it makes me feel, respond. As soon as you feel a response, it makes me feel like this. I feel frustrated, I feel stressed, I feel sad, I feel afraid. Whatever that feeling is, stop. You do not have to respond the same way over and over again. There is always a choice. But because you are running on a pattern response, you don't think about it. So what we have to do at that point is stop and take a breath. And then we are thinking, do I need to behave that way? So I have somebody in the background. Finish my pitch, I see. So it's just my awesome granddaughter has finished in the time it's taken me to do this. So just wait for me for a minute and I will finish up. I'm nearly finished with this. She's awesome. So the cooling breath right at the bottom. Stop the trigger, change the response. At the moment you have the pattern response, but if you stop, recognise that you're going to just about to do the response. So when I had anger issues, and I used to have anger issues, I'd feel irritated in my stomach. Looking at my granddaughter for a reason. I felt irritated, and seconds later I would go and get really angry at whoever it was. I never used my words.
Or whatever it was.
Or whatever it was. It was usually a person. I'd get stressed quite a lot. So I never realised I could stop and take a breath and then use words. So it is reprogramming your brain to remember that you can take a breath and you can do something different. So I hope these videos have helped you, and I hope this workshop has made a difference. So working through these things, then you have to realise how you're responding. Are you responding without conscious thought? Are you thinking and that's making you anxious or angry or stressed or whatever? Or how are you responding? This situation is a pattern response, calls from the past. How you behave comes from your past. You have learnt to behave that way. You think it serves your purpose. does it serve your purpose? So every behaviour serves your purpose. Is it going to serve you? If it doesn't serve you, then you need to change. And that comes from stopping the trigger and changing the response. And you have to train your brain not to respond as it's always done. So if you've always done that and you've done it for however many years, you've behaved that way, then you have to retrain yourself because it's an unconscious response. So you can say, I can't help it, I'm just that way, or you can learn a different way. And that comes from recognizing that it's just about to happen. What do you feel before you do it, before you behave that way? Once you get to that point, stop and take a breath, and then you start to choose what you can do instead. Use your words, communicate. Communication is key. If there's two people, it's always key. If it's yourself, communicate for yourself. It's your imagination that's making you feel like this, maybe. You can remind yourself, it's not real, you're just imagining it. That's what anxiety is. Pictures in your brain making you feel bad. So I hope this helped. I have a granddaughter that is obviously a little bit keen for me to join in now. So I'm going to go and join in and play. I hope this has helped. Stay tuned to the next workshop. But whatever you do today, have a great day.